Everyone doing today? Welcome back to On The Ball, and we are back with Premier League predictions after a week off for the FA Cup. We are back, and it is absolutely level pegging, 201 apiece. And we're going to get into the weekend's action. A lot of change, actually, in the Premier League since we've last done a Premier League prediction. And very much look, big games this weekend. Real big games. And the way the scoring works, if you don't know by now, it's 5 points for a completely correct score, 1 point for a correct result. Star man, once you pick that man, you cannot pick them again for the rest of the season. 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist. And the first one is a big one. Michael Carrick in the hot seat for Manchester United as interim till the end of the season. Semenyo to make his Premier League debut for Manchester City. It's the Manchester derby at Old Trafford. Sim has gone for a blockbuster. He's gone for 4-2.
Yeah, Semenyo's already got 2 goals in a Man City shirt. Should have been 3 if it wasn't for what for me was a disgraceful VAR call in the Carabao Cup semi-final against Newcastle. I don't understand how that's given. But yeah, I'm going for a lot of goals here. I think it's going to be Michael Carrick's first game in charge as interim boss at Man United. I think they're going to go for it. I think what Man United fans want to see is just a bit of adventure. I think they want to see their team give Man City a game here. I don't know if Mbeumo and Diallo they're going to be available for this game.
They should be.
Yeah, they should be. They're back from the AFCON. So I think they're going to have players available. But at the back line, I still think they're quite poor. I know they've got players back, but Man City looked really good against Newcastle, I felt, and with Semenyo added to the forward line, I think United are going to really struggle to handle what City got to offer. So I think United are going to fly throw players forward. I think they're going to be adventurous, try and win this game, but I think Man City are going to pack one hell of a punch here. So I'm going for a 4-2.
Yeah, I see it being a bit of a tight game with the shackles being off for Manchester United a little bit with Michael Carrick at the helm. And they do have the players to hurt Man City, like you say. And Man City are struggling in the back line with injuries, no signings to date in terms of Man City and defensive players. Look, we are recording this on Wednesday, so you never know. By Friday, they might have someone through the door. But as of time recording, they don't. So I see this being quite a tight game. I think that there'll be a good atmosphere around Old Trafford as well, with, obviously Ruben Amorim moving on and a Manchester United legend in Michael Carrick taking the helm and taking the hot seat. So I could see Manchester United hurting Man City, but yeah, I just feel like Man City have just got way too much quality going forward, and Man City are going to win the game and edge it out. I don't see it being a battering or anything like that. I can just see it being an edging out a close encounter. So 2-1 to Manchester City. Next up is Chelsea against Brentford. Rossinier, or Rossinier, whatever he wants to be called first. How do you say it? Rossinier. His first game in the Premier League for Chelsea. Against the Brentford side, who have actually turned it around a bit of late on their travels, but I see this being a nice welcome to the job for Liam, and I think he'll get the job done, and I think it'll be, I wouldn't say fairly easy, but I think it will be a fairly resounding victory.
Yeah, I've gone for 2-1. I've gone for Brentford to get a goal here, but I think with his first game at home in the league anyway, I think he's obviously going to get the team up for it. They're going to obviously be implementing some of the different tactics that he's obviously going to be inputting on the team. Bit different from Maresca. He does play attacking football though, so I do think Chelsea are going to dominate. I do think they're going to they're going to throw players forward, and they're going to obviously try and overwhelm Brentford. But yeah, Brentford are in confident form. They're in good form. So I do think it's going to be a tight game, but I see Chelsea just edging it 2-1.
He was speaking in the press, Rossinier, saying that, he's got enough quality to win now. Do you reckon that's the case?
Well, Maresca showed it, so why not? Win now what? He won 2 trophies.
Yeah, I mean, the Conference League should have been a given for him. And, yeah, he won the Club World Cup, which was, an impressive final game of that in the final of it. But when he says win now, I assume he means, going for league titles and going for the big trophies.
I don't think he probably has the players to do that, but could he win the FA Cup? Can he win the Carabao Cup?
He could definitely win the FA Cup this season for sure.
So he does have players to win those trophies. And in terms of win now, yeah, look, they need to upgrade to win the Premier League. But in terms of being in a race for top 4 and winning a domestic cup, I think they've got the squad capable of doing that.
All right, Leeds against Fulham. This could be a bit of a blockbuster, in my opinion. Tim's gone for 2-1 to Leeds, and and I've gone for 3-2.
Yeah, I think Leeds, they did get a damaging 4-3 loss to Newcastle last time out, but still, even in that game, they showed that they are playing well at the moment, and they're a danger for most teams. And I think Fulham's away record has been a bit suspect for most of the season, albeit last couple of games they've done well, but I do think Leeds come flying out the traps here, and they're just full of confidence at the moment. They're riding a wave of confidence, and I think it continues here. So I'm going for a 2-1 win to Leeds.
Yeah, look, I think both these teams are riding a wave, to be honest. Both these teams are going to come into this believing they can win the game, and I can see it being very open, end-to-end, chances at either end. I think both of them have got quality to break each other down and score goals. Seeing as it Ellen Road, I'm just edging with Leeds here, but yeah, it could go either way, this game. Like, two teams banging form right now and really surprising and shutting doubters up, both these managers and both these sets of players. So I can see a bit of a end-to-end open game with Leeds just edging it out. So I've gone for 3-2. Liverpool against Burnley next. Tim's gone for 1-0 to Liverpool. I've gone for 2-1. Burnley... Yeah, they've been slightly better in recent weeks. They've been able to score quite regularly, but not pick up points quite regularly. So Liverpool not playing well. They're getting over the line in certain games, and I think maybe their results suggest they're doing a bit better than what their performances suggest. So I can see Burnley actually scoring a goal, but yeah, I think Liverpool will just do the business.
Yeah, I've gone for a really tight, nervy 1-0 win to Liverpool. They're just not really kind of impressing at the moment, Liverpool, despite the fact they're on quite a long unbeaten run at this point in time. They're not actually... They've definitely kind of solidified. They've gone kind of back to basics and made sure they're just more defensively solid. They're not kind of going all-out attack like they were earlier in the season. And maybe that's the right thing, because they were just leaking so many goals, and that's kind of stopped. But as well, the free-flowing nature of their football doesn't seem to be there right now. I don't know if Ekitike is going to be back for this game or not. Isaac's obviously out. They're still missing some key players. Salah will be unavailable. Well, if they lose tonight, will he be available? I guess, maybe. We'll see. They're playing AFCON in the semi-final, so maybe Salah will come back in for this.
I think it might be a bit too soon.
Maybe a bit, yeah. He'll probably get a little bit of a break. So I think it's going to be a nervy game. Burnley, on their day, know how to shut up shop. And I think it's going to be, I reckon, maybe a winner in the last 10 minutes here for Liverpool.
Yeah, very well could be. Very well could be. Sunderland against Crystal Palace. Both of us gone for draws. Sim's gone for 0-0. I've gone for 1-1. Obviously, Sunderland a bit of draw specialist so far this season, particularly at home. They're a very tough nut to crack at home. Crystal Palace haven't won since the beginning of December, so quite a long time now since Palace have last won a game of football. But seeing as they would have had a week off, that will stand them in really good stead for this game, and I think they'll perform a lot better in this game than they have done for the past month when the games have come thick and fast. But I'm not sure if they're going to have enough to beat the Sunderland team, who are very resolute at home.
Yeah, I've gone for a 0-0. Sunderland only 2 goals in their last 5 games. They haven't won since winning the derby against Newcastle, and even that game it took an own goal to win the game. I do feel like Sunderland, after a phenomenal first half of the season, are reverting back to the mean in terms of their true quality. I also think the AFCON has not helped them one bit with all these players missing.
Yeah, they've got 3 or 4 players back for this game.
That will help, but I still think they're not massive goal scorers anyway, even when everyone was available. They were very much relying on their defence. As you said, Palace winless in 9 games now. Glasner cutting a bit of a frustrated figure on the touchline, and I could see this being a bit of a drab 0-0.
Tottenham against West Ham in a big London derby at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham have the opportunity to sack their previous manager, Nuno Espirito Santo, potentially if Spurs can win. And maybe if West Ham win, it could be... Is this an El Sacico?
That's what they're calling it.
Is that what they're dubbing it?
They're dubbing it, and another El Sacico here.
It very well could be. But look, we've both gone for Spurs wins 2-0.
Yeah, and I know Tottenham in dreadful form. West Ham even worse form. So the one team Tottenham are probably coming up against who are playing worse than them is West Ham. So you've got to fancy your chances. I mean, I don't know if being at home is a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously, we did beat West Ham 3-0 earlier in the season, but that game, if you remember, was quite close and it swung on a red card, and then Tottenham took advantage of it and ended up resounding winners. But it's going to be a West Ham side fighting for their lives. Paquetá There's rumours of him refusing to play and him moving to Flamengo. Apparently, he has made himself available for this one. So whether he's going to bow out in big fashion or he's going to try and not get injured ahead of a move to Brazil, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, we'll cast your mind back to August. Big rumours of him moving to Aston Villa. He plays in that game, scores and does a celebration saying the whole transfer talk is nonsense. It'll be interesting to see if something similar happens in this game. But Tottenham need something. They need a win. Frank is under big pressure. Hopefully Conor Gallagher starting in this game, making his debut. That should give the team a bit of a boost. And I think that energy from Conor Gallagher will bring is infectious. And I think in this kind of game, especially with West Ham, they don't have the most athletic team. And I think adding someone like Conor Gallagher into this team will really help us in this game. So I'm going for Tottenham to win this game 2-0.
Yeah, I've gone for 2-0 as well. Protests from Spurs fans ahead of this game as well against the ownership, which, could go, well, it's not going to provide a great atmosphere, but hopefully once the fans get into the stadium, they'll really back the team and get Spurs over the finish line. I think Spurs' home performances of late, I would say, has been slightly improved than what we showed at the beginning of the season, albeit results haven't totally changed yet. West Ham, they've just been dreadful and they're getting worse and worse. West Ham's last away win came against Nottingham Forest, which was Nuno's last game for Nottingham Forest, which is just crazy. Turn events haven't been able to win an away game since then. These are the kind of games, though, that Dr. Tottenham does seem to like to rear his ugly head for, but I think he might take a day off for this game. I hope. I'm praying.
He never takes a day off.
If Spurs don't win this, then we're bang in trouble. If West Ham don't win this, then, yeah, they could be sealing their fate as well to the drop. So, yeah, 2-0 to Spurs we're going for. Next up is Nottingham Forest against Arsenal. Sim's gone for 2-0. I've gone for 1-0, both in the favour of Arsenal. I just feel that Nottingham Forest are going to set up to frustrate Arsenal massively in this game. I think the game's going to be played the majority in the Forest half. Forest are just going to absolutely try and ditch Arsenal in this game, but I think they'll succumb to the pressure at some point. I don't think Arsenal are going to be free-flowing and free-scoring. I think Nottingham Forest is going to try and stop them doing that, but they're going to find the net at some point, and I've gone for 1-0.
Yeah, Forest in dreadful form. I know they beat West Ham last time out, but it wasn't exactly the most impressive performance. Before that, they've lost 4 in a row, and they've just been dumped out the FA Cup by Wrexham on the weekend. So they're really struggling, I think, at the moment under Sean Dyche. They've really hit a bit of a buffer, I feel. And I feel in this game, Arsenal, with their squad depth, I know they're playing midweek, but they can make changes. Their squad depth's going to be too strong. Havertz is back as well. I really think he's going to be a big help to them because I think he just is a better link player than Gyökeres. And I think he facilitates the other attackers a lot better than Gyökeres does. And Gyökeres doesn't really do that, and he hasn't been scoring. So I think, I don't know if Havertz is going to start, but with him being back, that's going to help them. And I just see them being a comfortable win here. I just think Forest are playing in a certain way at the moment that it will probably keep them up, but I think long term it's not working for them.
Wolves against Newcastle. Sim's gone for 2-1 to Newcastle.
Yeah, their away form hasn't been great, but they are on the back of 3 consecutive wins. They're unfortunate in midweek losing to City, but deservedly so in the end. And I think Wolves will give them a good game. They're in confident form. They're starting to pick up a few results. But I think Newcastle should just be a bit too strong for them.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Wolves have picked it up of late, but yeah, I can't see them stopping this Newcastle side, even at Molineux. And I think Newcastle starting to find their groove a little bit in this season now. Come the second half of the season, I think they're going to go on a strong run second half and try and claim that Champions League spot in the league. So I can see it being a tough kind of opening hour, but I think Newcastle run away with it towards the end of the game. So I've gone for 3-1 to Newcastle. Next up is Villa against Everton. Sim's gone for 1-1. I've gone for 2-1 to Villa. Everton, very up and down. You just never know what kind of Everton are going to turn up game by game, and I think they lack the firepower to really hurt this Villa side, really. And Villa, by hook or by crook, they're winning the majority of their games. I think the Arsenal game, obviously, they got battered in, but every other game they seem to be winning. And I think Morgan Rogers is going to be very vital to them. Ollie Watkins going to be vital. I think they've got some, big players to hurt Everton, this Everton side. And yeah, it could be tight for certain periods of the game, but I just think Villa have got that kind of star quality to get over the line.
Yeah, Grealish going back to Aston Villa in an Everton shirt. I think his ban was up against in the Cup, so I think he's back for this game. And I see it being a very tight game. Everton are very Jekyll and Hyde, but you kind of, in a sense, in terms of results, are very up and down, but kind of how they play, more or less, you know how they're going to set up. And I think this Villa team prefer sides who are a bit more expansive and they exploit the space. Everton should deny that, and I think as well, they've with Grealish back in this game, I think they'll have that little bit of creativity. They're looking to get a striker in before this game. We'll see if they're able to do that. Villa obviously missing out on Gallagher. Kamara picked up an injury. Marlin's now been sold. So, yeah, a bit of a shake-up there in the last game or so. I think Villa will dominate, but I can see them being a bit frustrated here. So I'm going for a 1-1.
Brighton against Bournemouth, which is going to be a really interesting matchup. Sim's gone for 3-3.
Yeah, I've gone for chaos ball here. I think Brighton like to keep possession, know how to exploit space. Bournemouth throw chaos into the wins in their games, and they've started to play a bit better. Obviously, got their monkey off their back last game with the win against Spurs, and I think it's being an end-to-end, very open game. Both teams having threats, although it is their first game without Semenyo. I didn't consider that, but I still think they've got lots of avenues of attack even without him, although Semenyo is obviously their main area. But Krupi's obviously starting to is scoring goals at the moment. Evan Nilsson is looking more on form as he was. I don't know if they get the striker in before this game, Ryan, but we'll see how they replace Semenyo. But I still see this being a very open game, lots of chances, and I've just gone for a 3-3 draw, a crazy one.
I agree in terms of open end-to-end chances at either end, but Bournemouth without Semenyo and without Cliver as well for this game, I just feel like they're going to lack the kind of incisive finishing to really put this Brighton side away. And I think it's going to come down to the clinical edge on the day. And Welbeck's been on really good form this season. I think he could have a say in this game. So I've gone for many chances at either end, but I just think that Bournemouth might not have enough to consistently take their chances in the game. And look, Semenyo's just been so important for them, scored so many goals, got so many assists this season. I think it's going to be a big miss for them. So I have gone for 3-1 to Brighton. Now we move over to the Star Men. Sim has gone for DCL.
Yeah, Calvert-Lewin home to Fulham, man in form. He's on penalties as well, so if they do get a penalty, he'll be taking it. I'm just banking on him to continue scoring form.
Yeah, I've used my first Spurs player of the season. I've gone for Mathys.
First one of the season. Yeah, so that goes to show more than anything.
Mathys Tell, I think he's really starting to come on this season. I think he's been Spurs' best player for the last 2 or 3 games. He scored a great goal away at Bournemouth last time out in the Premier League. And at home to West Ham, I think he could be one of the difference makers for Spurs. And I am backing him to get on the score sheet. So I'm going for Mathys Tell. Sim's going for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Let us know your predictions in the comment section below and who is going to take the lead this week in Predict the Prem. Is it going to be me or Sim? Thank you everyone for joining us, and we shall see you after the weekend.